Good morning, everyone. My name is Diane Cohen, and am with MacroPro. I'm the Vice President of Client Relations, and I also head up the Educational Department for MacroPro's clients. Today, we're going to discuss with you during our coffee break, we're going to discuss with you all the questions that we've had from clients regarding COVID-19 and how it affects your records. So I hope that you grab yourself your cup of coffee and join us and sit while we discuss some of the issues that are going to affect you. I'd like to introduce to you my colleagues who will be participating today as well. We have Heidi Cornell. She is a regional manager, and she is an operational expert when it comes to document retrieval. We have Drew Davis, and Drew has been in the industry for over 10 years. And then I have been with MacroPro for 22 years, and obviously here to help host this today. So I want to mention a few things before we get started. First of all, there are some handouts that are attached to this presentation, so please be sure to download them. They're information that will help you with some of the information and ideas that we have for you today. In addition to that, there's an area where you can ask some questions, and Drew will be monitoring those questions. So by all means, please ask us questions if you have any. With no further ado, Drew, I'm going to send this over to you so that you can go ahead and ask some of the questions that our clients have been asking. So hopefully our audience today will be able to get some information they can work with.
Thank you, Diane, for the introduction. Okay, so my first question is directed towards Heidi. And Heidi, can you give our listeners an update regarding the courts and what's going on with the courts? This has come up frequently, and we'd love to have that addressed.
Sure. To start with, on the workers' comp side, it appears that they've made the jump to utilizing technology as much as possible right from the gate. I've been hearing that there have been quite a few settlements. And then there's the order that came out from the Chief Justice of California. And what he said for the civil courts in California was that all trials are to be extended a minimum of 60 days. And I did want to add, I was on LinkedIn this morning and I saw a really lively conversation about the fact that they really don't think they're going to be doing jury trials in California till the end of the year. So they're facing a lot of challenges with how they're going to pick jurors in light of the social distancing measures that are required. So, you know, that remains to be seen. For right now, the order says 60 days minimum. Another thing that pertains to the document retrieval business is the fact that the Chief Justice asked that technology be utilized to the fullest extent in order to protect not only the staff and the people working within the court system, but the health and safety of the public as well.
Another frequent question that we're getting, Heidi, too, is about subpoenas and if subpoenas are being served or accepted and what's going on within that process.
Sure. Here at MacroPro, being that that's the bread and butter of what we do, third-party business record subpoenas, when this pandemic first started and the shelter-in-place order came out in about the middle of March, we furloughed quite a few employees. We really weren't sure how it was going to impact the business. Within about a week, what we saw was that many of our clients were moving from their offices to work from home. It took them about a week to get settled, but the orders started to actually increase for us. I don't know if that's because people had more time or I'm not sure what the reason is, but we got really busy really fast. And one of the great things was we were able to bring all of our order entry staff back to work within about 10 days. Half that staff is working from home, half that staff is working within the office so that we can maintain proper social distancing measures and really protect the health and safety of our staff. Now, our interpretation of utilizing other measures to ensure the health and safety of the public in our realm has been to pull our field reps out of the field. I mean, part of that reason is with the shelter in place order, they really shouldn't be out and about, but these guys and women can be in 10, 20, 30 different locations a day and really exposed to a lot of different environments. So they got pulled out of the field, and our interpretation of the judge's orders was that it probably made the most sense to serve all of our subpoenas by mail. So that's what we started doing, and that's been working very effectively.
That leads to the next question, Heidi. You say they're being served by mail. Are you hearing of any objections, and what are the outcomes of that?
That's a good question. I try to routinely touch base with operational people at our home office in Long Beach, and what they've been telling me is that for the last 30 days, they have not received one third-party objection from a location or any objections from opposing counsel about the fact that we're no longer serving subpoenas personally. It appears that everyone seems to be playing very well in the sandbox, so to speak, and everybody wants to ensure that we can do whatever we can to protect the health and safety of not only the public but our staff. So, I mean, I think there have been a couple quasi government facilities that are kind of struggling with changing their procedures because they have a lot of bureaucratic red tape, but that's only been a couple, and it's not that they've objected, they just don't know how to handle it, getting it by mail. But that's about it.
You know, I'm looking at the questions here, and one of them is, are the custodians even in their office? So I was going to direct that towards Diane, if you could elaborate.
Yeah, I'd be happy to address that. The custodians are in their offices. Originally, before this became a pandemic, all the facilities were taking the temperatures of the copy service scanners. They were coming to their office, and they were monitoring them, see if they had a fever, if they had a cough, something. Once that little time period where they're observing them pass, they let them come in and make copies. Well, once it was declared a pandemic, they put their pandemic plan into action, which meant that they were closing the doors to any non-essential employees. So this means now that there's nobody coming in. I'd like to paint a picture for you real quick. Well, if this is the office for the custodians, and typically there'd be, let's say, 100 copy services trying to come in to make records, you could see that the custodian now has a lot of work to do, because they're not only doing the work that they were doing, but now they're doing all the work of the 100 copy services that were trying to come in and get those records. It's a lot of work, and surprisingly to many people, there's only one, maybe two people who works in a custodial office, even for very large locations. So the work has become to a screeching halt. It's kind of like being on the 405 freeway at 5 o'clock at night when there's not a pandemic. And so you could see that they're trying very hard to get these out. Now, we're very fortunate. MacroPro had a pandemic plan. We were able to execute it very quickly, which meant we were able to get a hold of the custodians that we do business with to put together a method that we'd be able to receive records from them as quick as possible. So we are receiving records in multiple different formats, and we are, we haven't missed a beat because of our IT department. We're very fortunate because we have such a sophisticated IT department. Having said that, in the beginning, there were only about 20–25% of the custodians working. So like employers, for example, if they're non-essential, they did not have their HR department open to give you records. So it has opened up a bit. So we're probably looking somewhere close to 50% of the custodians are open for business and they are providing records. That means that there are 50% that's not. So things are slowing down when it comes to certain facilities, but we are still able to work with some that are open. So we are getting records. We're doing everything in our power to make sure we deliver those records as quickly as possible. In fact, part of our pandemic plan is that we have our production department, and they are working from 3 o'clock in the morning in 3 shifts until midnight. And so, of course, we do all the cleaning, everything that we need to do in between shifts. We do a social distancing, but we make sure that we can get those records out as quickly as possible once we receive them. And we are very, very busy.
Very helpful. Another question that we frequently get is about customer service. I'm going to direct this towards Heidi. Heidi, maybe you can give our listeners and clients some information regarding customer service and what to expect when they contact them.
Sure. Customer service is a really, really important piece of what we do here at MacroPro. It's very important to us that even in light of these certain circumstances that we continue to fulfill the promises that we've made to our clients. When the pandemic started, we moved part of our staff home to work remotely and kept part of our customer service staff in the office. Now, for the staff that works remotely, they don't always have all the tools available to them at their fingertips that they would if they were in the office in order to solve certain problems or deal with certain challenges and certain scenarios. So I guess I would just ask that our clients know that we are fully staffed in customer service. They are taking phone calls and fielding emails, but certain situations, it's going to take longer for them to get back to our clients or to resolve the situation. And I'm sure a lot of people in our audience have those same kind of challenges as well working from home.
Very understandable. Diane, the next question that we're seeing is about placing orders and the proper methods to place orders given the pandemic. Could you give us some information about that?
Yeah, so MacroPro has always been very accommodating to our clients. We've been able to take orders via email, by fax, phone call, online, and we really didn't care which way you provided it to us. However, given the pandemic and the huge number of orders that we're getting, we're asking clients to please go online and place your orders that way. And the reason for that is a couple-fold. First of all, when you put the information into the system, we are able to take that, do some checking, and then from there, we're able to serve the authorization and the subpoena very, very quickly. If we have to key that information for you, based off of an email or a fax or something, it could take quite some time for us to get to that because of working from home, not having everything available to our staff, etc. So by ordering online, you are helping us help you to get these records quicker. Can we key the information in for you? Yes, we can, but we do need you to be aware that is absolutely going to slow down the system and you getting your records. I want to point out that I mentioned to you that 50% of the custodians are working, and so we're able to get those served and people are working on that. The real reason you really want to make sure that you're ordering online is because of those custodians that are not open currently. They're going to be working on the oldest request. So if you key that information in and we're able to serve it, when they get that and they look to see what came in when, you're going to be at the front of the queue to get that documentation and the evidence you need to be able to determine the claim's value. Now, I put up a picture of our control console, and you can see that here on that, I just want you to see everything at a glance. It's really easy. I often tell people if you pass the, the 3rd grade, you can absolutely use our website because it's very user friendly. But one of the things you can see is you can check your order statuses online when you place them online. You can see what attachments you gave to us, an authorization form, etc. The little tan box there, that shows you when there's a file there that all of your records are in, and you can see that. If you need to approve x-rays, you'll see the little x-ray guy there. You click onto it and you approve those records. And then one of the biggest conveniences we have is if you had a question regarding one of those claims, you could certainly hit the little mail icon, click onto that. Everything pre-populates for you. Only thing you have to do is ask your question of our customer service rep. So we try to make it as easy for you as possible. We created a video for you to use if you don't know how to use our online services so that you can watch it. It's quick, it's easy, and it'll give you all the tools that you need to place an order online. And lastly, I'd just like to say that when you order online, we will do everything we can to get that served for you as quickly as possible.
Another frequent question is about record delivery, and one specifically, and I'm going to direct this towards Heidi, is can I still receive my paper records? So Heidi, maybe you could talk to us a little bit about that and let that client know what we can do.
Sure, there have been a few changes in the area, so that's a good question. Previously, when our clients ordered their records, whether it was hard copy or they got a download or records on CD, we were able to turn it around very, very quickly and ship out the CDs or the records via UPS or FedEx, and that's a trackable system. Once the pandemic started, what we found was that a lot of our clients are moving home and working remotely, perhaps coming into the office 1 or 2 days a week. Some of the offices not coming in at all. And so what we started to do, because we couldn't get signatures, was send out all of our records at US Postal Service. One of the things I want to mention is if you haven't tried getting records via our download, now might be a great time to give that a try. As the Chief Justice said, you know, he's really encouraging everyone in California working in the litigation field to endorse technology as much as possible. If you order the hard copy and a set per download, we can give you that download for only $10, no matter how many pages are in that set of records. And now might be a great time to play around with that paperless environment. Those records do come OCR'd every single time, so they're very searchable. And also we have an option for our clients where we can FTP them directly into your computer system nightly if our IT departments work together to set that up, and we are seeing clients utilize that more as well.
So Heidi, another question, by far the question that we get the most is about turnaround time. And I know this kind of connects to what you just answered. So maybe you could let our clients know what to expect on turnaround time given the situation.
Okay. Well, the pandemic started about 30 days ago. We continued to see records coming in. We weren't picking them up or getting them out of the field, but they were coming in by mail and email. So you know, I've had some clients say, hey, I can't believe how many records I'm still getting. But I think it goes back to what Diane was sharing about the statistics on how many facilities and locations are actually up and working or working at full capacity. If we're only at 50 to 60%, you know, there's gonna be a slowdown because there just aren't as many people out there to meet production dates and get them out timely. So I do want our clients to be aware that if they haven't already seen the turnaround slow down a little bit, it's going to turn, you know, it is going to slow down. You know, we are at the mercy of the custodian to produce those records. So once we get them, we can turn them around very quickly, but, you know, we have to get them in the door in the first place.
Great.
Very understandable. So I want to talk a little bit about the online training video that Diane spoke about. This slide here is giving you a link to that video. Maybe you've been emailing in your orders or faxing in your orders in the past. This is a quick training to help you learn how to do our EasyFast online order system, along with our phone number and our website to reach us if you need to. And I'd also like to take a minute to talk a little bit about some of the things that MacroPro offers to help lighten your load, starting with our out-of-state records. We can convert, we have paralegals on staff that will allow us to convert subpoenas to other states. So for example, you have a California subpoena, you need to convert it to a different state. We have the paralegals on staff to handle that. We also have subpoena preparation, along with raising the bar with our online tools. This is a free service, so there's a lot of different tools on there that may be beneficial to you in your day-to-day. We also have medical summaries handled by licensed medical nurses. These are nurses that we employ. We do not outsource the service like many other companies do. And we also have dedicated customer service representatives there to help you via phone or email whenever you need them. So with that, we'd like to thank everybody for being here, for attending our coffee break. We miss you. We look forward to the future when we can all get together and see each other in the not so distant future. And we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, everybody.